Hello, Caesar here, and this is Back to Back, Episode 3, Part 1. A little virtual conversation or discussion on subjects of backpacking and outdoors and nature and all that. And the subject of this episode is going to be all things related to stoves, cook kits, cooking in nature, different fuels, etc. Let me first say, quick apology to Ross and viewers. This has taken me a little bit longer than I would have liked. I've been very busy lately. As you can see, my busy beard has been growing. And what I'm going to talk about in this part here is going to be my preferred cook kit. I'll show off my go-to cook kit at the moment. Of course, this will change, but right now this is something really dialed in that I like. I'll talk about kind of what I've used, my experiences, and I have a broad range of experiences of different cook kit and different fuels and such. Though I have not tried any gas stoves. I've never owned or used gas stoves before, so this is actually something that's very handy to have someone else to bounce ideas of, because Ross, he primarily uses gas stoves. So I'm looking forward to hearing his input on his preferred systems. Now, most of my, I guess, more dialed in use would be within ultralight type stoves. For the past like 5 years or so, I've been I'm very much into lightweight and ultralight backpacking. And so for the majority of that time, I've used alcohol based stove kits. But somewhat recently, about half a year ago or so, I switched over to Esbit after, considering the pros and cons, and I haven't switched back to alcohol. Though I do like, alcohol stoves. I think they, they do have their pros. I guess, long story short, I got a little bit frustrated with the fussiness of alcohol stoves. The pouring and different conditions seem to affect them differently. That I found that, for example, with airflow and with humidity, I seem to kind of have different, results, with it. I found Esbit tabs would be way more convenient, way less fussy, and much more consistent very consistent, as far as the conditions go and how they burn and all that. Very efficient, very convenient. A little more difficult to get a hold of where I live here in Sweden. I have to go to like a specialty type shop to buy them. But I'm glad I did. And another thing, of course, that's helpful with Esbit is you can use it in the wintertime. Much easier than alcohol. That's part of the alcohol kind of fussiness. Like if it's very cold out, alcohol is very difficult to light or ignite, I guess I should say. That has led to many huge alcohol stove fans sleeping with like their alcohol fuel bottle in their sleeping bag at night in colder temperatures, which I actually have done on occasion. But yeah, that's just kind of like my little history. But I've had a broad range. As I said, I've used hobo stoves. I've used a lot of campfire cooking techniques, and I've used a lot of no cook, where I just don't cook at all. I just take ready-made food and all that. At the end, after I show off my kit, at the end of this video, I'd like to discuss in more depth campfire cooking and wood fires. They present some issues that I think the community, the outdoor enthusiast community or backpacker community, I think should be more aware of. There should be, it deserves more attention, and I'll get to that. But first, the gear. Yeah, I'm sure that you want to see the gear. I've noticed that I've had a few comments, people saying they want to, kind of see more stuff. So I've been trying to do that. Real quick before I break into the gear, I have used stuff sacks in the past, but more and more I just go back to a disposable Ziploc bag. It's lightweight, it's very effective, it lasts, even for a disposable bag, it does, last for quite some time. And now one of the cons of using an Esbit fuel system is if you see here on this Ziploc, there's a little bit of soot. It's not that big a deal. There's a lot of people, I think, that kind of exaggerate it. And keep in mind that with alcohol stoves, I will also get some soot. And I think the worst soot is if you're using a hobo stove or like a wood fuel stove. That can be like very difficult to clean, at least from my experiences in the past. So yeah, simple, easy, lightweight. And then of course the kit itself and everything fits inside of it. This is a titanium ever-new pot. It's 900 milliliters. You've seen this. If you watch my other videos, you've seen this before, but I have never unpacked it. So yeah, now I can do that. The handles I find to be really nice. There are some people that prefer to take handles off of their pots or have a pot with no handles. I prefer to have handles on mine. This is the standard lid that it came with. In this tin, I have all of my SBIT tabs. I can quickly open this here. This is just to protect them and just to keep them all like in one place and all that. And it's way more durable than like a Ziploc bag. And actually, I think it weighs slightly less than like a bigger Ziploc or about the same as a smaller Ziploc. But anyway, got this from my buddy Chris up in Norway. He's a biologist, and this is from his lab. So that's just in case you wonder where you can get this. You go find a scientist, I guess. All right. These are the little tabs I get. I get the 4-gram tabs. What I really like about this is it's easy to handle. You just pick them up. And I use between 1 and 3 tabs depending on what I'm doing. If it's just a cup of tea, 1 tab. If I'm cooking a lighter meal, 2 tabs. Bigger meal that requires more simmering and such, 3 tabs in general. And this little thing, all full with SBIT tabs, it can last me about 3 days or so. And on top here I just have one of these silica water absorbing things, and you've seen this also in my other kind of gear videos. And for the record, I never buy them. I always just save them from stuff. You know, whenever I buy something, they'll be, you know, I'll save them to reuse. Alright, and a sponge. Sometimes it gets a little grimy from cleaning and such, so I have it in a little plastic bag. The stove I'll save for last. Everything else is pretty straightforward. I have a titanium windscreen that you see just clicks together. Whoa! And then I put that down, and then I just put the pot inside. Sorry for that accident there. Good thing I didn't have anything else inside there. All right. So this is just a pie pan ground cover. I put that down, and then I put the stove on top. And the stove also has a built-in pot stand. And this ground cover helps to protect wherever you're cooking. Let's say if you're at a trail shelter or like at a table, you know, that protects, you know, that, but also reflects the heat up for, you know, a little bit more efficient cooking. Now, here is the stove itself. I have it just in a little baggie here. This is a, if you're even marginally familiar with ultralight, you've probably seen this before. This is a titanium SBIT TI wing stove, I believe it's called. It opens up just like that. It's a pot stand and a stove in one. 15 grams, and it is awesome. Works great. Very, very happy with it. I actually bought this used online, as I do a lot of gear, and it came with like a cook kit that I had, like an alcohol stove and also this SBIT stove. And I kind of just put it on the shelf. I experimented a little bit with it, but yeah, I'm glad I picked it up back off the shelf to use, because now it's my favorite. So that is it. Pretty simple, straightforward, effective. I don't see myself changing this setup, at least in, you know, the foreseeable future, but we'll see. Yeah, so now as you can see, I just packed up all the contents again in a matter of seconds, and in the bag it goes for my next adventure. But now, I wanted to discuss, as I said at the beginning of the video, this will be a little bit more controversial. I know that there are a lot of people in, like, especially like the bushcraft and survivalist communities that are huge fans of having a campfire. In fact, that's something that's like a must-have element of an outdoors experience. And I used to be one of those people that I still love campfires. My mind has changed about them. I'll get to that, but yeah, I always wanted to have a campfire. But then about a year ago or so, I was just doing some research because I was considering getting a wood stove, an ultralight wood stove, because there are some ultralight backpackers that will use a wood stove because you don't have to worry about fuel. You just take some sticks and while you're in the field, and there you go, you don't have to bother hauling around fuel. It's a very pragmatic way to boil up some water, right? But then the more I started reading into just wood fire in general, I kind of fell down the rabbit hole. I'll provide some links below. I'll let you guys decide for yourself. I just kind of want to inform the community, get the word out. I know this is probably not going to be very popular message. It's not, it's bad news. So please, I ask you to not shoot the messenger of bad news. I'll just, let the facts speak for themselves, and tell you how I compromise. But long story short, again, check the links. I'll put some links where you can read more. But to condense it down, wood smoke and wood as a fuel is not good for you. Not only is it not good for the environment, it's not good for your body. And even when you have a clean burning fire or stove, the particles get everywhere. They get to your lungs, they get to your heart. There are organizations, that discourage you from using wood for, to use warming your home or whatever, and also to cook with, but because everybody loves a good campfire, it seems like this is not, it's not real. This topic is not really discussed. Excuse me. So just thought I'd throw that out there. How I have dealt with it is that I only have a few wood fires a year. Technically, it's worse for you than tobacco smoke. So I really I've tried to cut back. I used to, nearly always when I went on a backpacking trip or a camping trip would have a wood fire. Now I've scaled it back to just a few times a year. I don't want to get rid of it completely. Special occasion, great, and that's it. Life is short and all that. But, I do want to take precautions. I don't mean to be like a bummer here, but this can affect your health. So that's that. I'm looking forward to Ross's reply, and of course, your comments, feedback, etc. Hope this video is helpful.